name's Will. I'm the owner, although I like to say it's owned by the community, Tiny Brick Oven in Baltimore. We're at 1036 Light Street in historic Fed Hill.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about, you said you are the bridge between the home pizza maker and the traditional brick and mortar.
We like to say the backyard pizza maker because really my first best memories of pizza were cooking outdoors, which still always holds a very magical place in my heart. We cook indoors too, don't get me wrong, but if I can just think back to that moment, that epiphany of like a cool summer night, the smell of like pizza baking in the oven, friends gathered around, like that moment will live with me for the rest of my life.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you got involved.
It's really a funny story. I was hosting on Airbnb, very early adopter. I would have like very average backyard barbecues in my yard, like low-cost burgers and dogs. As Airbnb got more and more popular, my Airbnb guests became more and more affluent. Like in the beginning, they were really trying to save money. So if I gave them any free food, they were like, wow, this is amazing. Will's like the best host in the universe and all these things. I was pumping me up, right? And I was like, oh, man, I'm not the best, but I do my best, you know? But eventually, as Airbnb became so mainstream, we got a lot of guests who weren't staying in Airbnbs to save money. They were staying in Airbnbs because it was a cool experience. And so at that point, when I invited them to our backyard barbecues, they'd be like, that sounds interesting. What are you serving? And I was like, oh, now I actually have to provide something good in the backyard, not just something free. And so this sat in my head. I tried to figure out what could I do to elevate my backyard food game, when suddenly I saw a propane-powered pizza oven at Home Depot, and I was like, ding! If I was making fresh pizza in the backyard, that would meet this new, more affluent clientele expectation. It stuck with me ever since. I couldn't get it out of my head. I ended up not buying that oven. It wasn't hot enough. But I built my own, started cooking in the backyard for friends, relatives, and Airbnb guests. All of them were absolutely blown away. This snowballed into being invited to cook at music festivals, which snowballed into us opening up our brick and mortar, which snowballed into us having this Christmas miracle moment when we got the 7.9 score from Dave Portnoy, and now 15 million views on TikTok. So wild. We like to say from backyard to barstool and to your backyard again. That's where we're headed.
I love that.
That's it.
That is really great.
Yeah, and Pizza Today has been with us all the way. We got the Pizza Bible way back in the day, started following Tony. Tony's always been a big proponent of Pizza Today.
For sure.
He made me come to my first Pizza Expo almost 7 years ago now.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What kind of pizza do you make?
Delicious pizza.
Good for you.
Yeah. I sometimes do Neapolitan. I think if we have like a really big crowd to feed, because it cooks so fast, we can turn our oven up to a higher temperature and make pizzas quicker. But if I'm doing something for people who might be more focused on the review, they want to try like the New York style pizza that Dave got to try. So that, of course, requires a lower temperature for a little bit longer. And as long as I don't have a big crowd to feed, then we can do that as well. So it's either going to be, for me, it's always going to be thin crust, but it's going to be New York style or Neapolitan style.
Ooh, Neapolitan.
Yeah. Do you see any trends in pizza today? Like, what are the big? I mean, obviously Detroit feels like it's exploding all over the scene. It just takes so long to bake.
Yes, I definitely think Detroit. We also had Chicago Thin climb up the list on our trends report for 2026. So that seems to be one as well, the classic Midwest square cut style.
Right. Yeah, a classic bar pie.
A classic bar pie.
Classic bar pie.
And then We've talked to a few people who are doing the Roman style, even just today in this room. That seems to be on the rise as well.
I've got to say, I'm a bit of a purist. So when I first saw them not cutting the pizza into wedges, I was turned off by it just a little bit. But later on, when I saw that people would eat like a slice and a half, then I realized the genius of cutting it into the little, that way there's less waste. And we really hate waste at Tiny Brick Oven. So I think maybe I'll try one square cut pizza and see if that produces less waste in the future. Yeah, we like that.
Can you tell me about your backyard oven?
Well, it's a kind of a unique invention. It is a very high heat. It can be a very high heat oven, or you can cook New York style at a lower temp. It actually rotates the pizza for you, so you don't have to spin it anymore. And we do use real bricks in the lid, so it's a real brick oven and cooks really nice. One of the biggest, I would say one of the hardest features for us to create was this. Like, I watched someone doming a pizza in a real brick oven, and all I remember thinking was, it seems like so much labor. If we could raise the bottom of the oven up, no one would ever have to dome again. So we have a patented mechanism now that not only spins your pizza, but allows you to raise it up so that you can dial in the perfect top and bottom bake. And that is patented now.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
That really is.
Yeah. I never imagined when I started making pizzas in my backyards that I would have to go through the whole patent process and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's been a wild journey.
Did you have a background in manufacturing or masonry or any of that?
No, my good friend from Baltimore is over there. Jeff, what's up? It's so funny. Yeah, this because for people who don't know, we're in this booth. It's actually all these windows are right around us, so friends are like waving at us inside the booth over here. I did not have any background in that. Just as a kid, I had always been encouraged to like take stuff apart and figure out how it works. And so, although my background is as an OR nurse, which is kind of a technical nursing, like you're constantly like plugging things in and kind of like getting things to work so that the operative team can like do what it needs to do. It's sort of, I feel like there's a little bit of overlap there, but basically I think it's just because as a kid, I was like, I can figure out how stuff works. I can make things that help make other people's jobs easier. And that's really what the Tiny Brick Oven has been all about, just trying to make it as easy as possible for people to make restaurant quality pizza in their backyard.
I love it. Are you still an OR nurse?
I still have my RN license. I always thought I might go get into it as a backup, like just in case the pizza didn't work out. Ironically, I had been doing a few shifts before the Dave Portnoy review. And he came in, he reviewed us, but it hadn't been published yet. And then my nursing job called and they were like, hey, we want to fill you out for the schedule for January. And I said, hey, thank you for calling. I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way, but just so you know, like this is kind of a weird once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm not sure if I'll have any time for nursing after this review gets published. Can we, instead of like reserving days for me in January, can we wait and see what happens after this review publishes? And they said, okay, that's very strange. They didn't know who Dave Portnoy was. Yeah. They didn't know any of this. Like that was all completely foreign. And they're nurses, right? They're not pizza people. So they said, but we'll check back with you later. So this review pops. It becomes a national sensation. I mean, CNN, the Daily Mail in the UK, the Toronto Sun. I mean, it just explodes all over the place. And then like a day or two later, I see the call from nursing work. And I'm wondering if I'm going to have to tell them. And instead, it's the whole office. They're crowded around the speakerphone. They're like, oh my God, woo! We just saw the review. We're so excited for you. We know you're never coming back in Lucy, we love you. And I was just like, oh my God, it's so wild. Like, and it turned out the manager of the surgery center where I had been working, her son was a radio talk show host, and she said, like, no obligation, but would you mind, like, if you don't mind, could my son interview you? And so instead of them asking me to come back and fill shifts, they ended up hooking me up with a small radio talk show gig, and I thought that was pretty kind of a full circle moment.
That is very
From
cool.
nurse to pizza maker.
How do you think people can make the most out of exposure like that?
You know, it's a really good question. You know, and we've certainly tried to make sure that we're putting our brand first and not just the influencer's brand first, right? Like, I think a lot of people want to say, like, oh, you're the Dave Portnoy guy, right? And I like to say, well, he did really help us. And we do believe that pizza can bring everybody together, but we're not just the Dave Portnoy people, we're the pizza people, we're the backyard oven people, we're the community people. And I think that's really where the message lies. When an influencer excites your community, just the same way Pizza Today can excite the community, right? You can really focus on that and make it so that we're not the Dave Portnoy pizzeria, we're not the influencer's pizzeria, we're the community's pizzeria. And that's really what we've always been all about. And then the influencer just shining that light on you allows you to just amplify that story even more and say that, you know, we're twice the community pizzeria that we are now, that twice the people have noticed us. So I think that's maybe the best way to amplify your message when you get like a massive review like that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you. It's really been such a great pleasure. Thanks for joining me to the Hot Slice. And sorry about my friends kind of interrupting us.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for swimming with us in the fishbowl.
Awesome. You're the best.
Are you looking for smarter ways to improve consistency, efficiency, and bake quality in your pizza operation? Spokane Valley, Washington-based Lloyd Pans is the trusted name for commercial pizzerias and home chefs alike. For over 40 years, Lloyd Pans has been creating innovative pizza pans and tools designed to deliver perfect results every time. Whether it's crispy golden pizza crusts or perfectly baked pastries, Lloyd Pans' durable, stick-resistant, and proprietary pan finishes are a game changer. Going beyond pizza? Visit lloydpans.com to explore our lineup of food service and bakeware pans and accessories. Need shipping quotes or custom products? Email sales@lloydpans.com for personalized service. Are you looking to get your brand in front of passionate pizza pros? Well, you've come to the right place. The Hot Slice podcast brought to you by Pizza Today. We're all about everything pizza business. Each week, we dive into fun conversations about trends, tasty tips, and insider stories from the pizza world. Our listeners are engaged and eager to discover what's new and improve their craft, with help from brands like you. Imagine your brand reaching pizzeria owners and pizza enthusiasts while they enjoy our laid-back chats. It's a perfect match. Whether you're selling equipment, ingredients, or anything that makes pizza better, our ad spots are designed to connect you with the right audience. So if you're ready to slice into something special, reach out to us about advertising on the Hot Slice podcast. Let's share the love of pizza together.
I'm Brett Robison,
I'm Bailey Robison.
and we're with Silver Branch Brewing Company and Mosaic Pizza.
So what's fun is Brett here just won $1,000 with our treasure hunt today. So I had to pull him off and talk to these guys about their business. So tell me about having the combination between the brewing and the pizza, because it's a really good marriage. We do see that quite a bit with the marriage between breweries and pizzerias.
Well, it actually started about like 2.5, 3 years ago when my business partner and I started talking about the idea of becoming a full-service hospitality company as opposed to just a beer business. And what we found is a big part of our demographic is families on Saturday afternoons, Sunday afternoons, and I mean, kids and pizza are like, and parents and beer. So like, it's kind of the perfect marriage. So we developed the concept and we had a lot of success with it. So we actually went through the effort to brand it independently, create a separate website, and now the future looks like we might be in the next couple of years opening standalone pizza places.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
There might be more Mosaic pizzas than there are Silver Branch tap rooms in a couple of years.
Now, I'm curious about the beer side of things because I'm, of course, a beer geek. I'm not a beer snob. I'm a beer geek. I love it all. But the one thing I've noticed, especially in our market, is that that the beer market is changing. Like, we're losing some of the lesser, breweries, and then the other ones are rising up that are doing really well. What are you seeing from a brewery standpoint that pizzeria operators would be really interested in with the market?
I feel like it's funny because I've been reflecting on this compared to like a brewers conference and what the topic of conversation is. And I think what it is, pizza is timeless, and people have it's not like a fad. There might be fads that occur within the pizza industry in general, but I think craft beer kind of had a meteoric rise, and really it's actually maturing as an industry.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people are looking for is the experience, of going to the brewery. And so, unfortunately, if you're in a warehouse and the hospitality doesn't match, so the breweries that are succeeding, and I would argue the pizza people that are succeeding, are people who embrace this idea of hospitality.
Yes, I would most assuredly agree. Now, how are you able to, because you have multiple breweries, how are you guys able to market to your consumers and really keep it top of mind?
So what's interesting about the marketing piece is we have a separate Instagram for each brewery taproom location because people see that as their local, and we do a lot of event programming, trivia nights, whatever, and they're all different for each location. Yeah. But Mosaic Pizza as a brand is a single Instagram for what will be multiple locations because it's more about, ironically, the beer concept is more about the experience, and the pizza concept is more about the product. Yeah. Which you would think is the opposite. Beer guy, but that's how we framed it up from a marketing perspective.
I love that. Now, what style of pizza are you guys doing at Mosaic?
You want to answer that, or you want me to try?
Do it. Come on.
It's kind of its own thing. They spent a ton of time developing the dough recipe. It has a blend of like rye flour in it, which gives it a really nice flavor and depth. I would say probably like looks wise, it's closest to like Neapolitan. Okay. Roughly. It's got that kind of like charred look.
Neapolitan kind of thing.
I like that.
Yeah. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's kind of its own.
It's crispier than a Neapolitan pizza.
Yeah. How long did it take you all to develop your recipe, from that? And are you using your beer in your recipe?
We get that question a lot, and people are like, "Why aren't you using your beer yeast? And why aren't you doing all this other stuff?" And
I'm just curious.
We found ways to incorporate some of the beer concept. So, like, we do in the form of pairings where we're like, Dr. Juicy, which is our number one selling IPA, we often pair that with the hot Roni, the hot honey. Those flavors kind of match. As far as formulating, if you include the recipe and the concept and the brand and everything that's gone into Mosaic, I would say, honestly, it's still evolving, and we're 2 years into it.
That's amazing.
But I think because of the beer industry, we've had to learn how to be very good at evolving. Yeah. And that's why I would say we're close to a finished concept, but we always have a little bit of room for ingenuity.
I really love that you have given Mosaic its own concept and its own brand so that it can have legs and grow on its own. Now, what steps are you taking you said you were thinking about going the standalone route with it. What steps are you looking at to make that a reality?
Well, obviously, negotiating leases, finding opportunities. From a strategic business perspective, we actually really like the idea of repurposing second-gen restaurants. We just found the time to development, time to launch is a lot faster, and usually those landlords are a little more interested in making a better deal because they feel like they're in trouble and they don't want to have to rip everything out, except in like the super high rent district. So that's a big part of, when we open the brewery tap rooms, they're bigger square footage models because you've got to have a beer garden and it's families and strollers. But the pizza model, we can, execute on smaller spaces that are more readily available.
Well, because so much of that will be like to go and delivery
Yes.
business as well.
Absolutely. Now I have to ask this because I have brewers here. What do you think is there a beer of 2026? Is there a beer that everyone is gravitating towards as far as a style? Are there any that are just rising up that you think like people need to include in their taps?
Okay, I'm going to shorten my answer because I can wax poetic on this for far too
that's
long.
Fine. We'll make it an extended podcast, right?
But honestly, it never really went out of style. It just was not it didn't have the fad attention. But I mean, the world is dominated by lager and specifically Pilsner, and we were very.
Yeah, I think that so I'm the general manager at Mosaic Pizza, and my passion and focus and everything is in the beverage program, so cocktail development. And I'm seeing in beer and cocktails like kind of a big return to the classics. So I think that's
classics.
Like Pilsner, and then in cocktail land, that's like the Negroni and just old-fashioned Manhattan. I feel like people are maybe life has been too complicated for the past several years, and everyone's like, can my drink at least just be straightforward?
And I've noticed, just being a beer geek, I've noticed the emphasis on low gravity beers and not having it so potent. I mean, for a while, you could not get a beer that was under like 6.5% ABV. And you're like, whoa, come on, can I have a low ABV?
Yeah, and again, like circling back to what Brett was saying about hospitality, I think that that's a big part of it because people are going to want to spend more time and hang out if they're not, if they're able to drink more beers and spend more time instead of like having one super strong beer, they can have like 3 more chill ones and try a bunch of different styles. So I think that in the realm of hospitality as well, it makes more sense.
All right, now go. What is the best pizza beer pairing of all times?
Oh, I'm going to tie onto what she said.
And it can be a specialty beer that you guys do, so go ahead and
I can't answer with one. I have to give you 2.
Give me 2. Give me 3. Give me 4.
I mean, to be honest, there's nothing better than Czech Pilsner and cheese pizza. It's literally, it's because it's like it's all about executing perfectly on the most basic ingredients, right? So I feel like strongly about that, but if we're going to step into more flavorful realm, I love IPA with spicy meat. So any kind of like meat lover, sausage. Ours is called the Oven Lovin'.
Or the Maui Wowie that we have, which has the like charred pineapple, bacon, and then it has the hot honey drizzle. That's also a really good.
That's amazing. I really love, so just me, when I'm drinking a beer and eating pizza, I love a pepperoni and jalapeno, just visual pepper, and maybe a little hot honey drizzle on top. And so good with an IPA.
Yeah, the IPA kind of ratchets up that spiciness, so you get that intense, overall feeling.
That's because I'm an IPA geek. What you like the hazy, not like the hazy? What's your feelings towards all the different variations on the IPAs now?
I really like that there are so many different styles. I love a nice like West Coast IPA that's just like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a good example, like what Sierra Nevada, like that's one of my like all-time faves. But then also I do love like a well-executed hazy. I do also think that it's one of those beers that it's easy to hide mistakes that you make because you could just dry hop it like to death, and then it'll be drinkable because it's so overwhelming to your palate. So I don't know. I think there's space for all of it. I definitely tend to gravitate a little bit more towards like the cleaner IPAs that aren't just like 1,000 confusing flavors.
Okay. And since y'all are in the business, do you have any tips for operators on operationally having a better beer system, especially tap? Let's say tap beer system.
I think it really depends on your model and the layout of your space. for the people with, actually I could simplify it. It's kind of about square footage.
Yeah.
If you have enough square footage and people are gonna dine in and hang out for a while, spending the money and focusing on how to do draft beer right is really important. And you don't have to know how to do it yourself, but you do have to work with like a reputable company.
I think like circling back to what he said, just as someone, I'm more in like, the front of house management. So you're going to have your staff needing to like change kegs and organize and count inventory and everything like that. And I've worked at so many places where you have to do like parkour to change a keg and you're like climbing up and they're heavy. People can get hurt like pretty easily. I always have bruises all over myself. And I think that I love like our new location. Our walk-in is like pretty big and spacious. It's really easy to see like which line is going to which keg. I don't have to like, untangle
Do
a
acrobatics
bunch of wires.
to get to it.
So I think like that is making sure that you have enough space to like safely and efficiently store your kegs so that it is more accessible for your staff. And then on top of that, something that I feel like people are a little bit more aware of now, but oh my gosh, clean your beer lines. You have to clean your beer lines regularly.
I can tell when a beer line is
Me too.
there.
I can tell when I walk into a place sometimes, like I should not get a draft beer.
So this is what I was going to say. I think for a lot of smaller operators with smaller draft setups, there's an expectation that they're going to be able to rely on their beer distributor to do that work for them, and they're not going to do it. So if you have a small enough footprint, I would say stick to cans. People will still be happy to have those, and those are available to go in certain markets as well.
Absolutely.
So it's really just, if you're going to do it, people will love it, but you've got to commit the resources and do it right.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you guys for coming on to the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shout out our team also that's here with us somewhere out on the floor.
Yeah.
So our executive chef, Alexander Walton, he's been just absolutely a lifesaver for us since he came to the company. So I just want to shout out to him. And then Brendan Colley, who is our sous chef. He's also amazing. So these are our pizza boys. And so just shout out to the team and everybody back in Maryland also.
That's amazing. I love it.
Cheers.